Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Put Me in Coach podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Herbert Fenner, and yes, my friend, I am your host. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for all the birthday shout outs. Yes, God is good, and I thank God for blessing me to see another day, to see another year. And I also want to extend my appreciation to you, for all the birthday wishes once again. Today, I want to talk to you about self-awareness. Yes, self-awareness. Last week I had the honor of doing a workshop, and I did the workshop on the subject of self-awareness. And I think that self-awareness is a topic that we can't ignore. Every year, during this time around my birthday time, I go to the doctor and I get an examination. I get a physical because I need to know, how my health is. I need to be examined. And that's pretty much what self-awareness is. Self-awareness, is that examination. Self-awareness is also defined as the ability to understand one's own thoughts, emotions, and behavior. In other words, my friend, self-awareness is really about knowing you. And when I say knowing you, I'm talking about really, really knowing you, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of your emotions, being aware, of your behavior. And I'm talking about being aware, of these things in such a way where if you may need to make some adjustments, it's easy for you to make those adjustments. Being aware to the point where you understand, weaknesses, you understand your strengths, you understand what's working for you and understand what's not working for you. Oftentimes, we find ourselves stuck because a lack of self-awareness. Also, to add to that, it's not just a lack of self-awareness, but poor self-awareness, seeing ourselves, in a negative way, seeing ourselves in a way, that is not fruitful, in a way that is not helpful, seeing ourselves in a way that is not healthy. So we're going to talk about self-awareness today, self-awareness. And once again, self-awareness is that ability to understand your own thoughts, to understand your own emotions, and also to understand your own behavior. And there are two stories, that really resonate with me when it comes to self-awareness. And the first story that resonates with me is the story of the prodigal son. Many of you can relate to the story of the prodigal son. Many of you have heard the story of the prodigal son. And I want to share that story with you again as it pertains to self-awareness. Now, the story of the prodigal son, it is a biblical story. However, I'm not attempting, to look at biblical concepts, throughout this particular lesson. I just want to use this story as an analogy that points and help us with our self-awareness. So the story, of the prodigal son is a story, about a young man who had an inheritance, a young man who took his inheritance, a young man who took his money, who took his wealth. And, he told his father that I'm ready, to be on my own. I'm ready to be grown. I'm ready to go out and explore the world. I'm ready to go out here, and spend some of this money. I'm ready to let my hair down. Yes, I'm ready to do me. And that's exactly what he did. The young man took his money, he packed his bags, and he was on his way. Now, he found himself in a situation where he started losing his money because he wasn't investing his money. He was just spending his money. He found himself partying, found himself doing a lot of things that he didn't do before. And then eventually he began to run out of money. And not only did he run out of money, but he also began to run out of friends. Yes, began to run out of friends and began to run out of resources. And eventually he found himself alone. He found himself in a dark place. He found himself doing some things that he never thought that he would do before. He found himself doing some things that even went against his values and his morals. Found himself eating things, that was contrary, to what Jews would actually eat. So the prodigal son, he did what he wanted to do. Like many of us, we get to a certain point in our life where we feel like, we want to make our own decision. We want to be our own man. We want to be our own woman. And that's what he did. He went out there and he explored life. And you know what happened, my friend? Yes, you know what happened, because the same thing happened to you. Life showed up. So life showed up for the prodigal son. And guess what happened next? When life showed up with the prodigal son and he found himself at rock bottom. Yes, he found himself at the bottom of the totem pole, found himself in a place of obscurity. When he found himself in a place where he really didn't have a desire to be. That's, my friend, where the magic happened. Yes, that's where the magic happened at. Because it says that when he found himself in that place of obscurity, it was in that place where it said he came to himself. Yes, he came to himself. Now, don't think for one second that, during this time, when the prodigal son started losing things and started losing his money and started losing his friends, don't think for one second that he's not thinking. Yes, he's thinking now. He's processing now. He's trying to figure out some things now because he's in a situation that he never been in before. He never been out there on his own. He never been out in the world by himself. He never had this type of responsibility. He never had this type of money in his hands before. So now he find himself in a situation that he never been before, doing some things that he never did before. And what's next? And it says that during this reflection, during this self-examination, it says that he came to himself. He came to an awareness of where he was at. Yes, we're talking about self-awareness. The prodigal son, he came to an awareness. He came to the point where he had to be still and he examined himself and he said to himself, self. Yes, self. See, that's that self-talk. There's nothing wrong with self-talk as long as it's positive self-talk. So the prodigal son, he says, self, what are you doing? He says, self, what are you doing? What's going on with you? Where are you at? How did you get here? What is happening to you? So he having this self-dialogue. And one thing about self-awareness and self-dialogue and self-reflection, there are some benefits and there are some rewards. And we're going to look at the rewards and benefits of this self-awareness and how important this self-awareness is. Now, for the prodigal son, one of the things that self-awareness allowed him to do was identify decision making. It gave him the time to identify the fact that he had other options. He came to the point in the realization where he realized that I have some other options. I have some other choices. So we're talking about that self-awareness. Have you come to a place where you may be tired? Have you come to a place where you may be frustrated? Have you come to a place where you have made some poor choices and it's costing you a lot? And now you at a standstill. Now you're at a point where you're trying to figure out what do I do next? Is there anything that I can do next? And that's what self-awareness, my friend, is all about. It's about coming to yourself. It's about coming, to that realization that I don't have to live like this. It's about coming to that realization that I don't have to go in this direction. It's about coming to that realization that I can do something different. So we're talking about self-awareness and how when the prodigal son came to himself, it improved his decision making because he was able to focus on options. And one of the options that he realized that he had was, I can go back home. I don't have to remain out here. I don't have to continue to do what I've been doing to get what I've been getting. So I, in fact, have options. I can go back home. I have some different choices. And how many of you realize today that when you begin to examine your situation that you may find yourself in, when you begin to examine your life right now, you begin to realize that I can make some different choices. I have options. So that's one of the first things that self-awareness does. It allows us to realize, allow us to know, my friend, that we have options and that we can make better decisions. So just take that time right now, to examine your situation. Look at the situation, be honest with your assessment of your situation, and then come to the realization that I don't have to continue to keep going in this direction. I don't have to continue to do what I've been doing. I have options. I can go back home. I can go back to school. I can get a job. I can do something different in order for me to get different results. So the first thing that we recognize is that self-awareness, my friend, it would improve your decision making. Just come to that awareness of where you're at right now and be honest, with that assessment. And when you're honest with that assessment, my friend, you'll realize that I have options. Either I can move away from this or I can stay in this. I can move ahead or I can go backwards. But I do have options. I have a choice. And you, my friend, you have a choice. The second thing that self-awareness does, it improves your emotions. It allows you to regulate your emotions. Yes, self-awareness allows you to regulate your emotions, my friend. It calms you down. It takes away, some of the stress. Because that self-awareness, once again, like the prodigal son, it calmed him down. He was all over the place at one time. He really didn't know what he was going to do. And he continued to find himself doing things that he really didn't want to do. So when he took that time to examine himself, it allowed him to regulate his emotions. He began to see that, I'm not what I've done. I'm not my experience. I'm more than my experience. I'm better than this. I don't have to live like this. I don't have to feel sorry for myself because I do have options. I have choices. And if I want something better, I can do something better to get the results that I want. So we're talking about self-awareness and how that self-awareness, it allows you to improve your decision making, and how that self-awareness, it allows you to regulate your emotions better. And also how that self-awareness, it allows you to enhance your relationships. When you know who you are, it gives you options once again. When you know who you are, it allows you to regulate your emotions. When you know who you are, it allows you to have better relationships with people. It allows you to connect with people. See, the prodigal son, throughout his self-awareness, it established a better relationship with him and his father. It allowed him, to humble himself and come to the realization of saying, I need some help. I can't do this by myself. I tried and things didn't work out as planned. And that's what self-awareness does, my friend. Self-awareness will humble you. Self-awareness, my friend, it will make you better. So just think about how self-awareness can make your relationships better. Whether the relationships may be, with your spouse, it may be relationship with your friends, it may be relationship with your colleagues, your co-workers. Self-awareness, it makes relationships better. Because if you want to grow yourself, you have to first know yourself. Know who you are, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Know the things, that makes you tick. That's what self-awareness does. It allows us to know ourselves. And then on top of that, when we know ourselves, when we examine ourselves, and if there's some things that we don't like, then we have the power to change those things. Yes, you can change those things. It's not too late for you to rewrite your story. It's not too late for you to change characters. It's not too late for you to switch roles. Because that's what the prodigal son did. He began to change narratives. He said, I don't want to be out here no more. I don't want to be the bad guy no more. I don't want to live like this anymore. He said, I want to change narrative. I want to switch roles. Now, I no longer want to be the prodigal son. I don't want to be the son that's lost. I don't want to be the son that's dead. I want to be the son that's alive. I want to be the one that is whole. Yes, that's what you want to be. That's what we inspire to be. So this self-awareness allows us to understand that I don't have to remain lost. I don't have to remain confused. I don't have to remain bound. Because I have choices, I have options. And I have the ability to make different choices. So today, my friend, we just talking about self-awareness. And one thing that I've learned about self-awareness is that it shifts. It shifts over time as you begin to mature and as you begin to grow. I think it's important to have that pause moment, to reflect, to examine ourselves, to see where we're at. Because one thing about life, my friend, is about adjustments. And throughout the course of our life, we will have to make plenty of adjustments. We will have to examine ourselves often as we grow, as we mature. Because the person that you were yesterday,